Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 run. Hope you're all doing well. So, I've had a long day, I want to relax, so we're going to play one of my favorite characters with my favorite weapon, play some music, grow some plants, and play farmer with Lute. This is not the easiest combo in the world because, while the Lute does make you drop consumables more, it's not the best weapon in terms of keeping your health high for the farmer, but of course it does give you luck and harvesting, which are very, very powerful, and we'll get more harvesting from our fruits, so we should hopefully be able to make this combination successful. Here I'm going to just take 5 luck. We want as much luck as we can get on the farmer because the way that this character works, we get extra harvesting scaling, so the percentage of harvesting that we gain is increased, which is massive because it means that any early harvesting we get snowballs enormously. And when we pick up a consumable while we're at full health, we get +1 harvesting. I'm gonna roll here and buy a loot, lock a coffee, roll, buy another loot. Lumberjack shirt is really good because that's going to give us more opportunities to get consumables. And then we're going to keep re-rolling. Now we've got 4 loots, which gets us up to 37 harvesting and 20 luck already. The advantage, of course, of this combo is that it's just a lot of economy from our weapon, which will help offset the fact that the farmer suffers from low economy until you get your harvesting online, because when all of your money is supposed to come from harvesting, since enemies drop 50% fewer materials, the actual income in the early stages can be pretty low. But since we get so much harvesting from our weapon and from just being the farmer in general, we're going to make decent money in the early game. Here I'm going to re-roll, and then we'll take 5 harvesting, and then we'll take 5 more luck. When we're playing the loot, of course, our weapon scales with luck. Our damage is increased by buying luck, so we want to buy that as much as possible. We'll buy another loot here, and then I do want to upgrade my loots. There's some consideration for buying Lumberjack shirt, but I think I would rather just re-roll, and we'll lock another loot here. The main goal, of course, at this stage is to stay at full health, so that whenever a consumable does drop, we get to pick it up for harvesting, which we were able to do there. And you want to pick up the consumables during the wave, because while they get pulled in at the end of the wave, so you still get the harvesting eventually, if you pick them up during the wave, then that harvesting will tick at the end of the wave, because your harvesting ticks before the consumables get pulled in. So we want to pick them up during the wave so that we get value from that point of harvesting that wave, both for the money that that point of harvesting gives us and also for the additional scaling that it might give us as well. So we're going to go ahead and take 5 more harvesting here, and then I'm going to take some movement speed. I think we have no movement speed currently, so I want to improve that as well. Buy all these items, and then do a re-roll. We'll buy a loot, and then roll again, lock another loot, buy a tree, and buy a penguin. Since we're going to be picking up a lot of consumables at full health, hopefully, penguin is the ideal item for the farmer. We both want to be at full health all the time, so we need a lot of regeneration, and we're going to pick up consumables while we're full health, so we should hopefully get a lot of regen out of the penguin. I'm going to try to put enough debuffs on the lamprey that we can kill it without taking a hit there, and so we're going to be able to get it without taking a single point of damage, ideally. I'm not worried about killing the curse aliens here because it will just take a while. We don't yet have the damage to kill them, and I was hoping to find more harvesting drops. We'll take 5 more luck. I'm taking luck over harvesting because we will get harvesting from consumables, and I really want the additional luck early because it increases the damage of our weapons, which is going to be the main challenge for us. Alien Worm is pretty rough for the farmer since we will be dropping a lot of consumables, but I do think we want it still. We need regen and we need max HP, and we can hopefully offset it with a consumable healing item. The farmer is tagged with pickup, which is one of the item tags that makes items that trigger off of picking stuff up, so materials or consumables, more likely to appear in the shop. Characters tagged with pickup have a pretty big advantage because those items tend to be incredibly strong. So we should be able to find consumable healing items in the shop. We're more likely to find them. No, I took a hit there, so we won't get additional harvesting this wave. But I was able to kill the Lute alien and get the crate, which I'm pretty happy about anyways. But you can see here that because I took some damage, I actually gave up 3 harvesting, because I picked up 3 consumables while not at full health. Boxing glove, we're going to recycle. I don't think we care about the knockback at all. I will take 2 armor, because I definitely need to get that going. And we'll take a fertilizer here, buy a weird food. All of our damage scaling is going to come from luck, because as we level our loots, the damage that they gain from luck increases, their scaling increases, so we don't care about lowering our melee damage at all. And then we'll lock a blindfold and a loot. Loot only has 1.5x critical chance, but we've already got 2 dodge, which is not that much, but from the Peaceful Bee, and the crit chance is still good, so I think this character will probably want to build dodge eventually. So I'll buy the blindfold. That's a relatively efficient way to buy some early dodge, and then that'll make any future dodge that we find better. Okay, well, I got the harvesting before I took the hit there, so at least we had that going for us. And I guess that did also give me one regen from the penguin. I'm going to try to wait until I'm full health before I kill the tree, because I want to be full health when I drop a consumable. And then again, we'll go there and get that tree kill. We'll go pick up this consumable. We'll go drop this tree. Unfortunately, I did lower my health, but at least at the end of the wave, I healed back up, and then we were able to pick up a few more points of harvesting. We'll take the cake. Incendiary Turret is going to be pretty good for this character, because it just helps us with clear speed, and we got it really early. Then I'm going to take 9 HP. The 10 harvesting is very tempting as the farmer, of course, but our HP is pretty low, and I do want to make sure that we're not just dying randomly. Do I want the celery tea? I feel like we will definitely lose some kills next wave, and probably some harvesting as well by taking damage. On the other hand, XP gain is pretty good for us, so yeah, let's take the celery tea. This is a bit of a greedy pickup, but I do like it, and then I will buy those other items as well. One thing about the loot is that it's pretty good for killing high health enemies, because it debuffs them each time you hit them they take additional damage. So even when enemies have a lot of health, you can use your loot to still clear them out reasonably well. Wave 7, of course, is a bad wave for celery tea because the healers exist on wave 7, so they're going to keep enemies at full health, and their full health will be higher. But I feel like we're still getting enough enemy kills, and so much of our income comes from harvesting rather than from enemy kills anyways, that killing fewer enemies this wave doesn't matter as much. We'll get the plus 50% XP gain on our celery tea, from the celery tea on all our harvesting. Jerky is kind of interesting for the farmer. This is an item that has advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, it's tons of healing, so it's going to help keep you full health. We drop a lot of consumables. The disadvantage is if you take damage right before the end of the wave and then pull in a bunch of consumables on the ground. Normally, they heal you to full, and then you get harvesting off all the rest of them. But with the jerky, that's not the case. I think it's still worth taking, though. It's just such a good item. So even if it costs us a couple points of harvesting, it's still just excellent. Here I'm going to take 12% damage. Our percent damage is negative, and then I will take 10 more harvesting, making sure to keep that growing from wave to wave. We'll take a lure and a Cyclops worm. I feel like we can wait one wave on the warrior helmet, and then... Oh, nice. Well, we'll just lock this entire shop and go straight to the next wave. Took an unfortunate hit there, so I'm going to try not to pick up consumables until I am back to full health, so I'm not going to break the tree. Oh, alright, well then I immediately took another hit from the anglerfish. Just playing really bad. So I'm going to use the jerky healing just to get back to full health. I want to be at full health when the loot aliens spawn, because you sometimes take damage when you go chase down a loot alien, and I need to be at full health to make sure that we have the option to dive in after enemies in order to get the loot alien kills without losing too much clear speed. Gonna try to stay at full health for the end of the wave so that when we pull in all the consumables, we're full health and get all the healing. So even though we had the jerky there, we were full health and we got all of the harvesting. I'll take the small magazine here. It costs me 6% damage, but attack speed's really important when you're playing the Lute, and then we'll take some more dodge. Goat Skull I will take as well. It only scales 50% on the Lute, but the plus 1.5 damage per attack is still pretty useful. And then we're going to grab more attack speed. I need to make certain that I've got good attack speed so that we can stack up the debuff on the Lute as quickly as possible. Recycling Machine, Shady Potion, Warrior Helmet. I'll wait on the Adrenaline because we don't yet have the dodge to make that super impactful, but we will, of course, buy the Adrenaline since we are going to build dodge. So here we have our Lute debuff, and we've got okay attack speed, so we should be able to kill the Hatcher. I do want to kill the Hatcher because our goal in every wave, basically, is just to stay full health. We don't care about killing enemies particularly, we just need to stay at full health in order to maximize our harvesting income. So we want to reduce the number of enemies on the field, and especially the high health, dangerous enemies like the Hatcher, which make more enemies, in order to further our goal of staying full health. Kill that Curse Alien there, we'll go break the trees. Early on, it's important to pick up the consumables during the wave. Later on, it's more important just to try to avoid taking damage. So you'll see that I'm not really like going after the consumables during the wave here. I am picking up a bunch there just so that we'll be full health at the end of the wave and we will get harvesting despite our jerky. I'll take the Cauldron here. We're going to pick up a lot of consumables, so it's, of course, a bunch of extra damage output. And then let's take 15 more luck. It scales our base damage. We're going to roll here. I could take 3 base damage on all our weapons, and I think I will. Even though 6 melee damage is not that exciting, it still scales the damage of my weapons, and that matters a lot. Buy all these items here. We'll buy a weird food for more healing. We'll buy a Lute. We'll buy a little frog. I almost rolled past the Lute. I wonder if I've rolled past other Lutes previously. I find that once I start not looking for a weapon, it's very easy for me to roll past more than one of them. So since I almost missed that Lute, I think it's pretty likely that I've missed others previously in this run. Need to make sure that I'm keeping an eye out for those. I was just doing a run where I didn't buy weapons, so I'm not really used to looking at the weapons. Which either you will have seen already, or you will see shortly. Depending on the order that I post them in. Alright, nice, we got a dodge, and that put us back to full health because of our adrenaline. So that was really nice, because that's going to make sure that I get more healing. Unfortunately, I did then take a hit, so we won't be full health at the end of the wave here, and you can see we didn't get any harvesting. That's okay, we lost like 2 harvesting, but jerky's just such a good item, it's worth it anyways. We'll take the movement speed here, and I'm going to take luck over dodge. Yes, I'm building dodge, but luck is so important when you're playing the Lute, that we're going to grab that. Take the little frog, and I will take the goblet as well. We'll need more regen, but the extra healing matters a lot. And then Cyberball is just more clear speed, since we're a high luck build regardless, so we'll take that. So here we're in pretty good shape. Our weapons do good damage every attack. We're not snowballing the way that the farmer with pruner would, which is why, of course, that's the optimal and ultimate weapon for the farmer, is you just end up with massive amounts of harvesting. But Lute is a really good alternative for the farmer, and I think still a very solid weapon. I mean, it's just so hard for Lute to be a bad weapon for any character, because it's just such an amazing weapon overall. Again, I took a hit right at the end there. I'll take the injection here, and then some more percent damage. We'll buy Cyberball, another injection, and then do a reroll. Another Cyberball's pretty nice going into the Horde wave. Pile of books. We don't have any reason to buy currently, so let's just re-roll here, and I'll take a Lucky Charm. That's going to boost the damage of all of my loots significantly, so we're very happy with that. And then we'll go to the next wave. Now, Lucky Charm does cost us, it's 30 luck, which is plus 3 damage for the level 1 loot, and then more as you level your loots. But then also costs you 1 damage because you lose 2 melee damage, so it does have a downside, but it's still massively positive in terms of the damage output. Trying to pick up some of these consumables so that our penguin healing will come online. The other advantage of Jerky for this particular character is that we have Penguin, and those synergize really well. So if I pick up a consumable, both to trigger my Farmer passive and to trigger my Penguin regen, and then get hit, the Jerky is very likely to still be giving me healing, because it lasts for 4 seconds. So picking up consumables at full health is a really powerful tool for this character right now. Always going to take some hits near the end here, but we healed back up to full before everything. Oh, wow. What a find. An early Anvil like this is both incredible just in general and amazing for loot, because these weapons level so well. I'm going to take the turret here, and then I'm going to pick up 2 more armor. Armor, I think, is the thing that we need the most of, armor and dodge, so I'm going to buy those. And then I will buy all this. I don't want the Terrified Onion because I don't want to reduce my luck. So let's re-roll again. Take Clockwork Wasp and Peaceful Bee, and we'll roll. Wheat gives me more harvesting, so I'll take that. And Gambling Token I'm going to take as well. We have 21 dodge, so that's the point where Gambling Token starts to become kind of efficient to buy. I think Triangle of Power is worth picking up as well. This character is going to try its level best not to take hits, and the extra damage will help a lot. We have very low damage output right now. Triangle of Power is a little worse on these sort of shorter ranged melee builds, because it's just harder not to take hits, but 20 upfront damage makes you so much better at not taking hits. We'll get, even if we end up taking a bunch of hits and losing damage from the triangle, we'll get a lot more harvesting in the meantime, because we'll be full health for longer during the wave. Also, even if we kill fewer enemies because the triangle reduces our damage, which, to be clear, it probably won't most of the time, but even if that does happen, this character doesn't care that much about killing enemies, other than for the consumables they drop. Trying to stay full health here for the end of the wave. Picking up a consumable or 2 in advance of the end of the wave helps the Jerky keep us at full health as well. I'll recycle the Ice Cube. We have no elemental damage theme right now, and then with this much luck, we can re-roll a couple times here. I guess I'll just say 10 luck. We'll buy a Lute. We'll buy... Oh, actually, I should have done the Anvil math there. Sometimes with Anvil, just upgrading your weapon is not the way to go. You need to upgrade in a specific order to maximize the advantage that the Anvil's giving you. And then we'll lock all these items. I don't think the lighthouse is any good. We've got the 1 turret, which I did buy mostly for fun, but I don't think we're going to go for engineering, though we will go for armor from the duct tape. I do need more max HP. We've somehow made it to wave 14 with 45 max HP. So when we hit level 20, I'll probably take a plus 9 HP upgrade. So there I took a hit, lost a regen, but that's, or lost a harvesting, but that's okay. At this point, our harvesting is high enough that it's self-sustaining because we gain 5% every wave. So once you get a certain critical mass of harvesting on the farmer, you just start snowballing your harvesting massively. You get an enormous amount of harvesting. Oh, took a hit there as well. And unfortunately took a hit near the end. We'll definitely take the max HP there, and we'll take 9 dodge. Once our dodge has reached this level, dodge is one of the most efficient things that we can buy. So here, for example, let's say I combine our loots. We combine 2 level 3 loots. Our Anvil will then not need to tick on those, so that's -2 Anvil ticks, but then we'll need to tick 3 times in order to upgrade the level 1 loot to level 4. So because we have Anvil, buying the level 1 loot here would actually slow down our progression to level 4 weapons, because right now we need a total of 6 Anvil waves in order to hit level 4 weapons on everything. If I combine 2 level 3s and buy the level 1, then I'll need a total of 7 Anvil ticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will be... so we actually don't want to buy the level 1 loot there. I'm also going to pass on the Little Frog. Yes, the harvesting and pickup range are nice, but we're at the point where I really just need to boost my dodge to maximum. We'll take Fertilizer and Alien Worm and then roll. I'll buy a Whistle here. Alien Magic is worth buying, so I'm going to lock that as well. I can't buy the Bloody Hand because we have Triangle of Power, but Metal is the perfect item for us. That's all stats that we badly need. So it's important when you have Anvil, usually with level 1 weapons, you don't want to buy them. But you need to do the Anvil math in order to determine whether you should be buying a weapon upgrade or just holding with what's in your inventory, because Anvil changes how quickly that will get you to all level 4 weapons. Trying to clear a bunch of these enemies so that we can pull consumables out of them, but that's, again, all we care about. And right before the end of the wave, I'm going to walk on a bunch of consumables to give myself as much healing as possible, so that if I take a hit right before the end of the wave, we don't give up the harvesting from all of these consumables. So like right here, I'm going to take some damage, and then we're going to pick up a bunch of consumables so that within 4 seconds of the end of the wave, I got all that healing. I will take the mouse. It does cost me some harvesting, but it gives us more enemies and more lifesteal. It keeps us full health. We'll take the baby elephant. Here I'm going to re-roll. I don't think I need the melee damage. I'll roll again and take 3 armor. That's the type of thing we do need. And then 4 more armor. That's perfect. I'll take an alien magic. I guess I'll take the wheelbarrow, even though it cost me an armor, but just for greed's sake. Unfortunately, we have negative crit chance, so the hunting trophy is just not really worth taking. Scared sausage doesn't do anything, so we'll pass on that. Here I'm going to buy a metal and a baby gecko. I will lock a bait as well. More % damage would be pretty helpful for this character. Go pick up that consumable that I left on the ground there. At this point in the game, we're basically just playing a normal character. We don't really care about trying to keep our health full, trying to pick up consumables. I'm still going to do it just for optimization, but mostly what matters is killing enemies, because that will drop me as many crates and as many consumables as possible. And all of our income is coming from harvesting anyways, so the only thing that can make our character stronger is getting more consumable drops, more crate drops, more curse from these curse aliens, and so on. Whoops. Walked right into the attack from that mini-boss there. And took that hit right at the end. So we're not going to get harvesting at the end of this wave, but we still made 525 harvesting. Here I'm going to recycle the bat. I don't care that much about lifesteal. Let's do some rerolls. Wow, we're really getting unlucky on these levels. I'll take 5 luck, I guess, because it's starting to become too difficult to reroll. I'm going to take the fish hook. It's not that great with only a couple waves left, but it's still okay. We'll take the lost duck. Goldfish, just for fun, and baby gecko, also just for fun, and then we'll reroll. The goldfish was pretty disappointing here, but let's take a schmoop, and treasure map I think will not have time to pay for itself, so I'm just going to reroll, and I'm going to lock this entire shop for our fish hook. I don't mind doing the lampreys in an elite wave because we have lutes, which are pretty good at killing elites. We're going to stack our debuff to the maximum level on the elite, and then we'll just be able to whack it for double damage with every attack. Taking some hits here, which is costing me some damage from Triangle of Power, of course. I need to pick up some consumables if I can, just to stay at full health, and then go find where the elite went. I fully lost track of it. This elite's model is small enough that once enough other enemies get on the field, you can just lose track of where the elite is. So I completely lost track of it briefly there. And now we don't have the attack speed to stay full health all the time. Oh, let's get the Lute alien kill, and ideally the curse alien as well. But we're doing great overall. Seashell, sadly, we don't have any ranged weapons, so it doesn't do anything for us. I'll take the alien tongue, I'll recycle white flag. Compass I will take, I guess, and then I'll take 16% more damage. Nice, we even got a proc off of our fishhook, so that's great. So I'll buy all of these items and then roll. Cursed Wisdom could be interesting, so I think I'm going to buy the sunglasses just because it's cursed, and I really want to boost my curse. We'll lock the Wisdom, because if it gets cursed, that would be really good. I will buy the Lemonade and Cursed Landmines. Again, the loot we don't need to reroll. I don't have any turrets, right? Or I've got one turret. So I could buy the Warhammer. You know what? Let's lock Warhammer. I think I've never bought this weapon in a video. I know that a few people have been asking to see this weapon. Now, unfortunately, Warhammer... Oh, no, we have 2 offensive turrets. Now, unfortunately, Warhammer's ability is basically blank text. The chances that it lines up with your turret being on cooldown is actually very, very low. So it simply doesn't make your turrets attack faster in practice, but it is just kind of a fun weapon to see. I do think that weapon maybe needs a rework, because it attacks so slowly that the chances that it actually changes the cooldown of your turret in any meaningful way are basically none. So it ends up just being another Power Fist or whatever, just a weapon that has good melee scaling and good engineering scaling and all that, but otherwise doesn't do anything unique. I will recycle the fuel tank. We'll take the duct tape. We'll take 12% damage here. We'll take some more max HP. The Warhammer didn't get cursed here, but let's go ahead and recycle the loot and buy the Warhammer. And we'll buy the Wisdom. Jelly I don't need. I'll take a Night Goggles, because that could be kind of fun, increasing our range by 50, and also crit chance on our Warhammer and everything. And then I'll roll, we'll buy a tree, and we'll lock the crown, because of course you can't be the king of Brotato without it. Let's buy Pile of Books just for fun anyways. Lure I don't need, though, because we're going to be going into the last wave. Although maybe I should have bought it just for the regen. But, so let's watch our turret on the left there, and you can see it's just attacking at the normal speed. I'm like attacking with my Warhammer constantly, and the turret's not changing its attack speed at all. That's just the unfortunate reality of this weapon, is that it mostly does not actually do anything. Okay, we got a couple attacks there off the turret. Got a couple extra attacks. But that was with me just like running straight into a big group of enemies with all the defenses that we have. It also cost me a bunch of Triangle of Power damage and so on. And most engineering builds are not going to be able to do that as well. So that's why that weapon, unfortunately, doesn't really see much use. It does do decent damage. I'm curious about the damage that it did. Have to recycle that, of course. We'll take the handcuffs. Gummy Berserker will recycle, and then let's take 3 engineering here. So the Warhammer dealt 6.2k. Yeah, it didn't come close to the damage of my loots here. Although we haven't built melee damage or engineering, of course, and the loots were all level 4, whereas the Warhammer was level 3. So a bit of an unfair comparison. We'll take the Pile of Books. I'll re-roll here. We'll take an incendiary turret for our Warhammer. We will go... we'll buy the jetpack, obviously, because that gets us to 50 dodge. And then... So Cursed Bloody Hand is actually an interesting spot with Triangle of Power. So Triangle of Power will reduce your damage by 120 over the course of the run. Over the course of a 1 minute wave. Or more than that over the 90-second boss wave. But if you get enough lifesteal with Bloody Hand, it can still be correct to take it, because the amount of extra damage that you get from the Bloody Hand damage will outweigh the damage that you lose from Triangle of Power. So here we probably would buy the Cursed Bloody Hand. It would be less damage by the end of the wave currently, but only a little bit of lifesteal would be required to make the Bloody Hand profitable. Not that we can afford it, but it is, I think, an interesting consideration. That sometimes Bloody Hand is good to buy even when you have Triangle of Power. Alright, let's see if our Warhammer can do some work while we're bonking away at this whale boss. Taking a bunch of damage here, so I'm going to back off and try to heal up a little bit, pick up some consumables. The incendiary turrets, of course, are not benefiting from the Warhammer because they attack so fast anyways, but our level 1 turret is doing okay. If we had a laser turret or an explosive turret, you would see a little more stuff happening from the Warhammer, but most of the time, it's simply not going to do anything that has a visible impact on the game. Alright, well that was really fun. Always really enjoy playing the farmer, and with loots, it's always a great time. You end up with amazing amounts of damage and income. So we've got 850 harvesting. We only got our Cursed Crown right at the end, but it did give us 92 harvesting in one wave, which is pretty ridiculous. 13% extra harvesting there. The early Lumberjack shirt helped us stack harvesting, 20k damage on the incendiary turrets. We ended up level 30 because of our early celery tea and the other XP gain that we got, and all the harvesting that we got. Recycling machine for 437. Anvil upgraded all our weapons to level 4. Didn't manage to give us any armor, but still very good. 110k damage on the cyber balls is pretty nice as well. 140 healing on the goblets, and 23 on the adrenaline. Bone dice was pretty bad. Wow, we bought this bone dice a long time ago, and the bone dice were awful. We got more damage than the average for the amount of HP that we lost, but the bone dice just never triggered at all. 5k damage on the turret, even with the Warhammer trying to reset it. Although the Warhammer actually did outpace the damage of my loots in the last fight. Dangerous Bunny, very good as always. 20k damage on Baby Elephant. Our Fishhook got us one cursed item, so it paid for itself, I guess. And overall, just a really fun, solid run. Alright, my friends, hope that you've enjoyed this farmer run. This is just a really fun way to play farmer if you're tired of playing with pruners, because obviously the pruners are the best way to play this character, but loot is a really good alternative if you're just looking for a fun and relaxing run. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.